Good morning, you guys. It's Tuesday morning, and I'm gonna talk a little bit today about something that makes me really sad to talk about. But I figure, beside my very first video, this one is probably gonna be the hardest for me, so I may as well conquer my fears now. I realized that I lied to a lot of people when I was growing up. And, well, actually, when I was more an adult, 17 and older. I used to tell people that I was emancipated. And the truth is that I wasn't emancipated. I know that in order to be emancipated, you actually need somebody to fight for you. And to tell the court why you shouldn't be an adult at a young age. And I didn't have anybody who was fighting for me. Growing up, we used to get evicted all the time. Like, unfortunately, it was just one of those normal things for us to get talked to and have my mom say that we have to move again. So that 30 days, went by usually pretty quick, but at the end of the 30 days, there was always a place that we were moving into. So when I was in high school and we received that, yet again, all too familiar notice, saying that we had 30 days to vacate our house, I didn't really question anything because, again, it was a really normal thing for us. Well, fast forward to day 27 when we were sitting down all together and we kind of looked and said, so where are we going this time? And the response to us was, I don't know. Where are you going this time? And, with only a few days to think about it, we didn't have much time to really even think or worry. We all just kind of scrambled, and I think my brothers maybe went to our cousin's house. I was pregnant, so I purchased a car at a young age with my money from my work and what my grandparents had left me. So I moved in for a few days. Well, I stayed for a few days with my son's dad. And that was super uncomfortable because he would leave all the time and go partying, and I would be stuck in his bedroom, afraid to come out of the room. So I decided it would probably be better for me to sleep in my car. So that happened, and I was okay with it. I'm a strong girl and could take care of myself. But what I couldn't handle was watching my brothers suffer. And as soon as I realized that they were no longer allowed to stay at my cousin's house a few days later, and they were sleeping in their friend's house, whoever's friend would fall asleep fastest, the parents would fall asleep fastest, they would sneak them into the garage. So my brothers would sleep in cold garages. And that was kind of where, it's weird because I think about it and think, well, why didn't I do this for myself? And I think, again, because I was such a survivor, that I didn't have the drive's not the right word, but the need, I guess, to go out and do something for myself. I thought that I could just kind of skate by and my son's dad would feel bad and stop partying and stay home and invite me over to spend the night. Well, that didn't happen because clearly I spent way too many nights in my car in lit parking lots, But again, the kicker was when I found out that my brothers were sleeping in cold garages. So I immediately applied for housing, and I moved us into a house in Windsor, um, where I soon welcomed my son a few months later. But going back to, growing up and telling people that I was emancipated, um, it just kind of made me feel like I had to share my story less. I didn't have to make them realize what really happened to us. Um, but it took, honestly, I don't think I'm all the way done with counseling on this topic, but I've definitely been able to forgive the situation, and, raising my brothers throughout those next 5, 10 years, um, just provided such a sense of, I guess, accomplishment for me. And growing up, that was what I kind of needed. I already did a video on needing to get awards for positive um, attention, but this, I think, was just another thing for me to have something to fight for. And it's definitely affected me in ways that I didn't imagine. While Izzy was a young child and playing sports, and when I moved to Chico, I would sometimes see parents who didn't have their kids, or moms who didn't have their kids. And for the life of me, I couldn't understand it. I was really hurt, and I think it brought up a lot of feelings, because having my son at such a young age, you can kind of imagine what you would do or what you would say, but when you really experience the love of a child and having one for yourself, you realize that there's nothing that will ever stop you from, number one, loving that child, but number two, caring for that child. And I made the choice at a young age to move to Chico and move away from his dad, which meant that he would have to be away from me sometimes. And it was just weekends, he would barely go for the summer. So, but the weekends that he was away from me, it was heart-wrenching, and it was only weekends. I never thought, or I never could imagine him being gone for long periods of time. So, I've since kind of realized that parents make choices, again, for, I think, their children. So those moms that I would look at and not be able to understand why they did it, why they left their child, how they could live their life without their child, started making a little bit more sense to me. And I still don't choose that. I am in a wonderful marriage where we raise our daughters together, and but I still go back to that day sitting on the bed and having my mom look at me and just ask where we were going. I hold a lot of sadness there still, and as much as I would love to say it's made me a stronger person, I'm sure it has, it also had me hold an awful lot of resentment. I get sad when I talk about it still. I don't like people feeling bad for me about it, so I don't share it very often. I just tell people that I was emancipated and had the privilege of raising my two brothers. But that's not the truth. And I think sometimes when we're able to face the truth, it makes us stronger. So I wasn't emancipated. I didn't have anyone fighting for me. But I think the more important thing that I did have was I was fighting for myself, and I was fighting for my brothers. And I share this video because my dream in life is to help children and teen moms know that they have a big chance at life. And I heard this quote a few months ago when I was in South Carolina from Trent Shelton. And if you don't follow him, you should. But he said, broken crayons still color. And for me, that's a quote that I put on my wall. You can actually see it right there. And it's a quote that I share as often as I can, because I think sometimes the most important thing that we can do is believe in others. And if I was put on this earth to help children who might not feel like they have someone fighting for them, or teen moms who feel like giving up, I would share with them that broken crayons still color. In my opinion, we color the most beautiful pictures and can write the most beautiful books. So I hope that you believe in somebody who doesn't think they have the chance to believe in themselves. I often remember, really quick, I'll end this, but I often remember two teachers that made a really strong impact in my life, and I don't think they know that they did. One of them I am friends with on social media, and her name is Miss Poor. She was my high school teacher at Elsie Allen in Santa Rosa, and she just had a wonderful aura about herself. You know, every time I would go into her classroom, the way that she would look at me and the things that she would say to me just made me know that I had someone fighting for me, even if at times I wanted to give up on myself. My other teacher was Miss Hirsch, and she was my elementary school teacher at Kawana Elementary, I think in Rohnert Park or Santa Rosa. And, you know, being so young at that time, that was almost more when I needed somebody to believe in me than high school or my later years, because I felt like she gave me a purpose every day. You know, the way that she would look at me was just incredible. So I hope to be that shining light for children or teens or teen moms one day. And I'm excited to share this video because I think that, number one, I'm getting a lot out of my comfort zone. And number two, I've forgiven the situation that I came from. And so I think that's number one is forgiveness. And number two, just being honest about things and knowing that you'll grow a lot more from those experiences. So thanks so much. I hope you choose joy today and give back to somebody who might not believe in themselves today. Thanks so much.